Hello, Oracle Database fans. This is Justin, and in this Oracle Database YouTube video tutorial, I am going to. This is a basic PLSQL tutorial, and I'm going to show you how to use comments or remarks, REM statements, in a PLSQL program. Now, what is PLSQL? Well, PLSQL is spelled PL/SQL, and it is the programming language of the Oracle database. I have seen entire end user applications written in PLSQL. Now, PLSQL collectively is proprietary and specific to the Oracle database. PL part, procedural language, is specific to Oracle. However, SQL, structured query language, is the industry standard for communicating and manipulating data in a database. Okay, so collectively, PLSQL is proprietary and specific to the Oracle database. Now, PL stands for procedural language, and SQL, of course, stands for structured query language. So PL is the Oracle extension to SQL, and what it does is it expands SQL so it has a lot of programming language features, such as being able to display data, just print data that aren't result sets, okay? Um, Loops such as while loops, for loops, so until loops, things like that. Condition testing with if statements, functions, things like that. So a lot of programming logic you can put into PLSQL and run it within an Oracle database. Now, PLSQL is not a standalone program like C. You can write a C program, compile it, and as long as the other computer systems, as long as it's compiled to run on a certain platform, and as long as you move that program file, the executable, to other program computers of the same platform in which it was compiled on, you can run that C program anywhere. Same thing with Java, nonetheless. I mean, Java needs a Java virtual machine, a JRE. But as long as you have that, Java programs can run on any platform as well. PLSQL is not a standalone program. PLSQL requires the Oracle database to run because the PLSQL execution engine is located in the Oracle database kernel. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use comments or REM statements, whatever you want to call them, in a PLSQL program. And it's just like in any programming language. Any programming language that I've worked with anyway has REM statements. Corn shell scripting in Unix and Linux systems, Perl, Java, C. On all those languages, C++, I've used comments. Okay, so let's go ahead and set our Oracle SID variable to finance. And let's convert that properly by echoing the value of it. Echo Oracle SID. Okay, and let's connect via SQL Plus. Okay, so let's do a show user to ensure that we're connected to the finance database as the sysdba user, sys, and let's type in the select name from the $ database to ensure we're connected to the correct database, finance. Okay, so there are two types of PLSQL blocks or programs, if you will. Anonymous PLSQL code and named PLSQL code. Named PLSQL code is actually stored in the Oracle database. It's in the data dictionary in the system table space. And you can call it at any time because it's stored, the source code is stored in the Oracle database. Okay? Anonymous means that you're just writing the source code like we do in this tutorial video, and you're going to run it in the Oracle database, and then that's it. You're never going to call it again. Okay? So if you're running and if you're programming an anonymous block in PLSQL and your PLSQL program will display output, okay, which ours is going to do, you need to set the following SQL Plus parameter. Set server output on. So that's set server output, one string, on. Now we're going to begin our PLSQL program by opening our begin block. And now I'm going to, there are two ways to make comments in PLSQL. You could use, and this is an SQL as well, you could hyphens, and you could type in blah, 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 and then we could use the DBMS output dot put underscore line package procedure to say hello world, well, whatever. We'll end our begin block, and we'll tell Oracle to execute our PLSQL program. You'll see that even though blah, blah, blah is clearly not a PLSQL or not PLSQL commands, because there is a hyphen in front of them, or the PLSQL processor knows that to ignore that, okay, and not execute it and not worry about it. So it was ignored, even though it's in the begin block in the source code. So let's show you another way. This is called a multi-line rem statement, and you can also do this in C and Java as well. We open the multi-line comment by doing / asterisk space, and we say blah, enter, blah, enter, enter, blah, and we close it with an asterisk and then another /. So it's / and asterisk on the inside. So asterisks are always on the inside. So you open it and you close it. Now we can do dbms underscore output dot put underscore line test. And again, Oracle PLSQL will ignore the multi-line rem statement. So you have a single line remark or comment here, and you have a multi-line remark or comment here. Okay, and PLSQL's processor knows to ignore those. Okay, so what are rem statements good for? Well, like in any language, rem statements are good for documenting your program. Okay, for programmers after you, when they look at your source code, will know what you're trying to accomplish in your code. So it's always a good programming practice to include rem and comments, and that's how you include them in PLSQL. Thank you.